Whoops. Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. Currently working on Deck 8 of the Enterprise E as in Enterprise. And I'm doing a pretty good job. Deck 8's come together pretty good. Only found a few little errors. I'm just going back now, fixing some cosmetic stuff, and I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I did do a lot of repositioning of some of the corridors. Jeffrey's tube, of course, that was laid out in the turbolift was laid out. A new layout for the turbolift in the center of the ship was discussed in the last episode. But currently, yeah, this is Deck 8. I moved some not turbolifts, Jeffrey's tubes, and to gain more room and make things more in line. This one right here, I think it is. It used to curve right here and go on the outside of the stairwell up to the wall, corridor wall over here, and where this door is. And I realized that was, it was kind of a lame design, so I went ahead and changed it over, and then I was able to fit this nice size crew quarters in here. And I went ahead and expanded the crew quarters a bit. By that I mean there's actually fewer crew quarters now than there were before, but they're larger and they're more uniform in design and stuff because of changes. I did remove a few corridors, and I did add actually add a couple of corridors to the ship, and I'll show you here. One of them I did add. Fly along here, right here. This is an actual new corridor. It wasn't in the ship beforehand. And right through here. I realized that the space that it actually had, it required the use of a corridor, and that allowed me to make two relatively nice size crew quarters out of it. Actually, I think two really nice size crew quarters out of it, and I'm pretty happy with that. So a lot of the design changes paid off. Actually, it is 3 crew quarters. 1, 2, 3. And they benefited a lot of the new designs. I got rid of some spaces that made no sense and repurposed a bunch of stuff. Like now these rooms are here, and beforehand I couldn't do anything with this stuff because there were windows right here looking into the hangar bay, and I'm like, there's no way to use this space effectively. And beforehand I had half slabs and carpets. Well, I can't do carpets anymore because carpets don't work the way we need them to work, and obviously we don't have the darker textures for the carpets. So yeah, so all that had to be rethought and redesigned, and that's what I did. Let's go ahead and zip over to the side here, and I'll kind of show you what I've done. I went ahead and replaced the windows with lights. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with this hangar bay. While it was originally designed by Mad Squirrel, and he did a fantastic job with it, it doesn't fit. I still like it. I always will like it, but it doesn't fit the current standard build practices on the server now. Now it's, obviously it's slightly different style based off of what Shadow developed for the Luminosity B. Now, I've asked Shadow if he wants to come through and change some things and rebuild some stuff in here, and he said he might. He's really pressed for time, so I doubt he will. So, for the most part, this is going to remain the same. The shuttle bay will probably remain the same. There will be some slight changes as I go through and make changes, but there most likely will be aesthetic value changes or necessity changes, like I might add an interior wall against this wall here to differentiate it between the external and internal walls. I did do that with this room right here, but I haven't done it. Well, I did do it with this room too. Cool. Gotta fix something here over here. So I did it with this room, but I didn't necessarily do it with this room. So if you come through here, you can see that the external wall is the same as the internal wall. Let's go ahead and, while I'm here, let's go ahead. 5, come on. Darn it. 6, there we go. Those are my hotkeys. And that's a shame. There we go. We'll just replace these right here with internal walls. And do this. Whoops, wrong blocks. Like so. Go ahead and get rid of the pumpkins here. Keep them around the glass. I think that actually works pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Go ahead and add these up into here. Grab our control block. that's not the control block. And then I'm going to go with these ones right here. Let's go ahead and go a little bit higher. Come on. Here we go. And then our I'll use this brown block. I'll probably change this color pattern later on, this floor, this roofing. It just depends, because the colors seem to fit the walls a little bit better in my opinion, but why not? I'm not really sure what this area is anyways, but we'll go down here and then follow the way around. And go back into spectator mode and fly into here. You can see here, nice big open area. What is this area anyways? Fighter Command Center. So it looks more like a Fighter Command Center now, including the Jeffries tube layout here. But as I go through, I'll be making aesthetic changes. Like, I definitely will be updating the roof, obviously. And that's one of the things I hope I get Shadow to help me with, is redesigning the roof of the place, because currently the roof, you know, is just flat pumpkin blocks, and while that used to work, it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, gotta make changes there. Let's go ahead and get back into deck 8 here. Here we are, out of spectator mode. These little crawl spaces have been standardized now. I really like the fact that this works. I don't know why, it just does. You step in here, and now it feels like an EPS conduit. You know, it just works. And I got to go back through and redesign everything on the Enterprise D, as in Detroit, and you know, to that standard all through the saucer and part of the upper part of the drive hall. And we have, of course, we have our Jeffries tube, and this was an alignment issue, sort of a thing. I should move this over, but theoretically I can, because there's nothing stopping me from moving this ladder over to there, because it would look a lot better if it, well, what stops me is, well, you know what, let's just do this. Aesthetic wise, we can do anything we want to do. It's our build. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's get this stuff out of the way here and take a look here. So there's a bathroom right here. So what I can do is go ahead and close this off. This bathroom will be slightly different on this side of the ship than on the other side, because reasons. There's a door here, so we're golden there. We'll go ahead and grab the vent block, put the vent block down. Of course, we need the flush block, and we'll put the flush block there, and then we need the space toilet, and it'll go there. And then we can open the door, close the door, and we step through here, and of course we'll put these blocks down, and go ahead. This is the wrong block. It's the block I've been using, I just haven't changed it around, and I need to actually change that block around, so can't use that one. Where's it at? It's the andesite block. Okay. There we go. Actually, this block would be yellow. Okay, so this would go up like so, and that would be like so, and then the stair, or the ladder would... Well, you know. There we go. I was actually in the position of that block, so it wouldn't let me place it. And so, alright, well, that was a nice little easy fix. So we come through here, up here, now this block, this block, this block. All these blocks need to be updated as well. Let's go ahead, break that sign. That. They would be like this, andesite, andesite, and down here, grab our friend the stair block, flip him, there we go, and come back down here, this block, come up, do that, it would be like this, and at this point, I think it'd probably just be flat stairs or iron slabs. And then, come on, gotta get rid of that. So there we go. Come on, let me do my thing. I'll go ahead and just leave that as that. Then grab this one, place there, there, and there. Exit. That looks better. And then, of course, just fill these spots in here because I don't like empty spots behind the walls. And plots. There we go. And get rid of that. Make it more uniform. Now I can do the same thing on this side to make it universal, even though that doesn't really matter. It's not universal, but uniform. There we go. There. Alright, now it's even. That looks a lot better in my opinion. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put a control block like right here, just for giggles. Now I can put a stair block right here to hide this, but for the most, and right here as well. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And this is deck 7's cargo bay, so we'll go ahead and go back down to deck 8 here. Yeah, you know what? For consistency's sake, come on. I'm going to go ahead and do that, just for consistency's sake. There we go. And we step back up. Now, that was quick. You can see in here, this doesn't matter because the chair goes, the toilet goes like that. Then over here, it's a little different. It's like this. So just a slight difference between the port and starboard side there. Works pretty good. Works pretty good. Come through here. I like how that looks. So, for those of you who have been watching the new Discovery show, I understand that the latest episode, there was a scene where they were on the interior of, I believe it was the Discovery, and it was like a big open space. They had like work bees flying around on the inside of it, and they had like a roller coaster amusement park style turbo lift system or turbo train system going on in it, and it just really took people out of the moment because they saw that scene. It was based more or less on the JJ universe as opposed to the TOS era universe, and it just sucked people out of the moment because they were like, wait a minute, that makes no practical sense. Where does that fit inside the ship? As designed, you know, there's only so much space on the crossfield, yet where would they put that in there? Anyways, they can't. The crossfield is not big enough for a space like I saw. I saw pictures of it, and they discussed it on the Trackyards YouTube channel. I don't know why they don't like Minetrek, but evidently they don't like Minetrek. But I still watch them. They still have a lot of cool information. They talk about some neat things and stuff like that. But they discussed it, and they fully came out and said, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to him at all that space where would you put it inside of the Discovery? Well, that would mean the Discovery would have to be vastly larger than it is. And the current Star Trek scaling system is based on the original Star Trek Enterprise. There was an episode where they had the Enterprise here and they had a Klingon ship right below it, and then they had this little scaling chart right on top of that. Using that scaling chart, they were able to scale the size of the Enterprise. And that was the standard that everybody lived by for 50 years. Well, until the JJ universe came out, so 40 years. And then JJ came out and basically blew the scaling all to hell and back in a handbag. He ruined Star Trek, straight up. J.J. Abrams ruined Star Trek. Much like he has ruined Star Wars, he has also ruined Star Trek. So, what next? You're going to ruin Battlestar Galactica? You know, give it to him, he will. You're going to ruin The Lord of the Rings? Give it to him, he will. But, yeah, so it blew the scaling system. And it's a shame to see that the scaling system, instead of being based for Discovery, instead of being based on Star Trek, the original series, is now based on the JJ universe. And we know that because when we see the Enterprise for the first time in Discovery, it is greatly increased in size compared to the ship from the 70s. Therefore, it is safe to say that the 60s Star Trek, the 60s original Star Trek, the 80s TNG Star Trek, The 90s Voyager and Deep Space Nine and the 2000s Enterprise Star Trek are all no longer canon. The new canon is Discovery and whatever Discovery, decides to base their technology and stuff on. Now, I am fine with that. If they want to relaunch the entire Star Trek universe and base it off of, and start with Discovery and then do a new Star Trek, do a new TOS, then do a new TNG, then do a new, Deep Space Nine, new Enterprise, all that other fun stuff, they can do that. But they can't because those are existing universes. So they have to make Star Trek Discovery fall in line with those other shows unless they state Star Trek Discovery is its own Star Trek. It is the Star Trek for the future. And everything that came before it is null and void. You know. But again, fans are fans. I am all for if they want to relaunch the Star Trek and redo everything, then they should do it. They should do Discovery, they should do the new TOS, and they should do a new TNG and a new Deep Space Nine. And of course a new Voyager, based upon the new stuff. And sure, it is oddly JJ that the JJ ships are this size, but they have like galaxies on the inside of them in space. It just makes no effing sense to me. So it really, as a fan of Star Trek, and I'm not alone in this regard, troubles me greatly to see Discovery using the JJ scaling as opposed to the TOS scaling. So, and I don't know where that's going to go. Honestly, I don't know if anybody really knows where that scaling issue is going to go, but we know that the Discovery is not as big as a Enterprise J would be, and that's how big it would have to have something like that floating around in it, because God knows the Enterprise J is absolutely massive in size. And it could this would be the only starship I think in the current timeline, or the old timeline, the pre-Discovery, pre-JJ universe timeline, that could actually fit a JJ style interior into. I mean, gosh, the Enterprise from the JJ movies was just horrendous. A brewery as the engine room. What are they, powered by steam? It made no effing sense. And nobody who watched those movies, I mean, everyone was just left scratching their heads like, how is this logical? I don't know. Anyways, as part of the redesign of this ship, I went ahead and added an Arboretum. It's about 4 decks tall, I believe, total. And it basically, there's a turbo lift underneath here. I cannot bypass that turbo lift. It has to be where it's at, because that's a core element of the design, core fundamental component of the design. So I decided to go ahead and put the Arboretum here, and we get 4 decks, which works out really well for us. So we have the Arboretum. This is one of the things that Emmett originally, when we implemented it with the Enterprise D, and then when I helped Shadow design his ship, we implemented it with his ship, that we wanted to see refit with the Enterprise E. Now, as mentioned before, the Enterprise, this build is pretty much null and void. I can do whatever I want with it because it's never going to be considered the Enterprise E anymore. It's going to be something like, the ISS Jakorski or something. It could be whatever I want to name it. So I'm free to redesign it as I see fit and how I want to redesign it. But I still want to keep it, like if for example, this were going to stay the Enterprise E, I still want to be able to say, hey, this is, if you walk around the Sovereign class, the Enterprise E, you get a feel for it as being such. And this is one of those things. So I wanted to keep it consistent in that regard. And i.e., if you go on to Luminosity B, you'll have a little area like this, and of course we have this in the Enterprise D, so it would stand to reason, for consistency's sake, that we would have this on the Enterprise E, and that's why I put it in. So, because AM wanted it, and I thought it was a good idea, and I told her if I could find a spot for it originally, if I ever rebuilt this ship, I would put it in, and since I am rebuilding the ship, even though it may not be the Enterprise, it's still going in. So, that's that. That's my logic, and I'm sticking to it. Come through here. I'm going to go ahead and swap these out as well while I'm here. I think I have to do it up here. Nope. Do I have to do it down here? Yes. Trying to stay consistent. It's hard. There we go. I gotta go one up. Yep, there we go. Ah, come on. Get down there. Down there. There we go. Yeah. Very, very happy. Now, I don't know what Shadow's been doing on Luminosity B, but I know there's been a lot of chat over there about, including the words ooh and ah and whoa and wow and things like that. So, yeah, it's safe to say that Shadow's probably made some progress on his Luminosity B builds. So, if you haven't been on the server, again, it's really easy. You just get the download, you install the Forge, double click it, it installs. You change your instance. Instead of using Minecraft X, you use Minecraft Forge install. I think it's 2808 currently. And, that's what you do. And go ahead and change this block out here. It's pretty simple. Once it's installed, you just take the mod, you run it, of course, and then you take the mods, you drop the mods into the mod folder, and you're off and running. Bob's your uncle. Log in, and you're good to go. Now there are some. I'm going to change this out. There are some mods that, as you update, they do kind of cause odd issues. Foliage mod is one. I've had some problems with it when I updated recently here to the current version that we're using on the server. I had to uninstall, reinstall that mod. I don't know what it is, but occasionally I have to do that with that mod when I update Java. Just one of those really odd things. So keep that in mind if you try to update and you can't, or you crash, or you get these really weird errors. Chances are pretty good that's just because you didn't run Forge correctly or didn't install correctly. Just reinstall it. Delete the instance and reinstall it, and you should be good to go. These here are emergency survival lockers. Just FYI. Come through here. Now we can go, if you want, let's go ahead. This stairwell goes all the way up to the bridge. Let's go ahead and go all the way up to the bridge. Through here. There's deck 7, deck 6, deck 5, and then we'll be up to deck 4. Actually, yeah, deck 4. And here it is. And that was deck 3, so this is deck 2, and then, of course, up to deck 1, and then up to the bridge. Anyways, I do appreciate you taking time to watch. This is the Minetrek.net game server. This has been an update for the Enterprise E as an Enterprise. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.